the Shen was not the smart choice because we just traded Rek'Sai for Gragas, and Trashy actually played so well and won that matchup.
Or they use the Rek'Sai completely differently if they do it again and they don't go for a super passive pick like Soraka. You know, honestly, Soraka shaped that composition to be something else than it could have been as well. But a lot will be made clear very quickly in the early stages of this pick ban.
Yeah, it was very easy for Splyce in the last game, in case you guys missed it, to just find the Soraka on the map, pop Sivir ulti, Karma speed up, and just like fly straight at her and kill her every single time. Poor Mythi wasn't really able to do a whole lot. Same bans so far. Last ban from G2 was the Tahm Kench, and then from Splyce it was the Gangplank. They might not ban Tahm Kench this time around. They're seeing the same, you know, the Trundle as a potential counter for the Shen, and then obviously the GP was the last ban from Splyce, setting up for a Wonder Shen performance.
Preemptive Rise here banned out by G2 as well. The benefit, obviously, of this purple side, because we keep saying a purple side so good, is just that, honestly, Splyce can hide Senkooks. They can make him pick after perks, and usually there is always a pick that has a slight lead or a bit of a counter in that mid lane matchup.
So, is this a bait from Splyce, kind of trying to push G2 to take the Shen over the Rek'Sai, and then Wonder has a counter pick ready? Oh, Sivir is actually open. So I think that is a better choice for G2. Not that the champion decided the fate of Sven last game, it was just him tunnel visioning on minions.
Yeah, this is a good adaptation. It means Sven is less likely to get caught. Taunt Flash isn't as dominant against a Sivir because at worst you expend your spell shield.
And it gives more scaling to G2. Last game they got heavily outscaled, could not win late game team fights, and Trick can still run Gragas if he wants to, which has great synergy with Sivir, together with also something like Vladimir.
But now we get to see how Trashy himself plays that Rek'Sai and what Trick is going to use as an answer. Is it going to be the Nidalee again or just a standard Gragas matchup? You know, we would expect the Gragas, but you never know with Trick.
The adaptation, though, is so good from G2 here. Take away Sivir, and then you steal away the Vladimir as well. Don't want to have the same kind of matchup as the last game. So right now, you're the one with the bulldozer composition.
Yeah, this probably leads to Senkooks playing Malzahar, but Malzahar, if he gets slightly focused a little bit with two tanks in jungle and top lane, that's a composition that might run out of damage eventually, or just gets put under too much pressure, because the best scaling AD carry is also on the side of G2.
Great point with the Malzahar. Well, what's a great counter to Malzahar was someone who can just devour his target. Well, that's the Tahm Kench now. So G2 saving that jungle pick just because they don't have to show it, and they just keep getting more and more tanks and more picks that can deny something like Malz.
All right, I'm hearing a huge amount of positivity for G2.
Trevor's still here.
I am.
Oh, but you left.
You know what? I'm leaving it to these smart guys to take us through this pick ban. Regardless, the Tahm Kench, the Vlad, the Sivir, we like everything. What is left for Splyce? Because if this Malzahar's picked, surely Senkooks is picking himself into a hole.
Shirley?
Don't call me Shirley.
It's just the answer. What's left is for Cobbett to decide what AD carry is going to be playing into the
Yeah,
Sivir.
I mean, the tough thing for, we might get Jin, coming in from Splyce, something they have played in the past. And just because I'm afraid if they go Lucian, they're going to run out of damage.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they went for the Malzahar, as you talked about, Crepo, with obviously that traditional pick into the Vladimir. What a big surprise, you know, he went for Malzahar. But it leaves so many questions for that AD carry pick, because Splyce right now will not have a lot of damage late game versus a Tahm Kench and a basically full tank composition from G2 with the Sivir just speeding up these tanks as well. This is massive bulldozer from G2. Lack of damage from Splyce. I'm not even sure Jin is actually enough damage when it comes to killing tanks. Jin is not the greatest tank killer.
I do not want to be in Yamada kind of shoes right now to figure out what you have to play, because if you look at G2's composition alone and you don't look what Splyce has drafted, it's almost a pristine 6-15, 1-3-1 composition that can run just so well. You have the scaling Vladimir, you have the Sivir who plays super well in the mid lane. The Vladimir plays without a teleport on the side lane, but if there's ever a question of matching that, you have Tahm Kench to deliver to the side lane. So you need to go for the hyper-traditional counter pick to Sivir, a notch above the Lucian. You gotta go full Forgiven, you gotta go Caitlyn.
Yeah, this is very lane focused from Splyce. It was actually something that worked for them last game, having that strong 2v2 with the Karma down the bottom lane. Now they get a Caitlyn as well, so even better. But mid-game, if you are Splyce, you have basically no DPS. Malzahar wants to hit 3 items. Caitlyn wants to win a laning phase and get to 3 items as well.
This comp needs a 3,000 gold lead by 20. Or they need like, at least maybe if they can do, if they're even, they need to put heavy focus on like a Baron plate that can't fail. They will get outscaled.
Well, outscaled or not, I think the late game fights I agree because of Tahm Kench, obviously Malzahar is very much nullified, but late game while you have scaling on Malz and Caitlyn, the problem is still that at best you get like these 50-50 big fights, and grinding through these tanks are just so difficult to do, and Tahm Kench heavily outscales the Karma, so big disparity in support.
Yeah, the only point where Caitlyn can maybe swing it back is like 6 items, and that's like, you know, rude.
And then we're talking 50-50, not even advantage.
No.
This team comp, you guys mentioned it, 1-3-1 on the side of G2. Great champions to do so, but G2 showed in the previous game, 1-3-1 could be attacked. They had some weaknesses in getting it going.
They kind of attacked themselves as
and
well.
Getting the ball set up. They cannot afford to make those mistakes again, otherwise that's where Splyce can generate the lead to make their team composition work.
And this is going to be super interesting. Zven and Mithy have a really big role to play for G2 this game. They need to kind of resist the pressure that Kobe and Mickey are going to put on them. And then they need to dodge the inevitable bot lane party that's going to happen. Global from Rek'Sai to arrive there. Global from Shen. Maybe push pressure from Malzahar if he all-ins on a single wave and rolls bot. There is almost guaranteed to be either rotation to the top lane to accelerate the third kill by Splyce, or a simple 4-5-man bot lane party.
Yeah, I think the top lane part is very important if you look at the last game and how Splyce were able to win, because they managed to pull off an early gank on Expect. They put him behind in this matchup. Shen is a good laner, and especially once he gets like a small advantage, he can really be annoying and just consistently trade with you and kind of push you off the minions. You want that first item on Gnar before he starts really fighting back. So it was very important that Splyce got Wonder ahead and kind of shut down Expect a little bit.
We'll find out if they can do the same thing again, because obviously Wonder having the ability to just jump in anywhere with the Shen, with the speed up from the Sivir, managed to work out in his favor. And obviously a lot of that set up by Trashy in a good early game. I'm excited to see how Trashy performs on Rek'Sai. Role reversal from the previous game.
Let's see if Trick can steal away all the buffs and so on from Trashy, like in the last game. Probably won't happen, but obviously we know this matchup is one that is okay for Gragas. He can easily farm against the Rek'Sai as well. Might fall slightly behind, but that's about it. Mithy starting Tongue Lash down the bottom lane. When you play Tahm Kench against other ranged supports, you don't really get to devour them or anything, at least not too easily. So you can actually go Tongue Lash first, and then E second, and then back to Tongue Lash level 3. But it's more her range harass.
Yeah, and you basically want to be a sponge. You just want to draw as much aggro as you can here, hopefully tanking the Karma Qs here and trading with Mickey and making sure that whenever Karma auto-attacks you, she's drawing a little bit of minion aggro. And then here approach here, good zoning here. So Zven and Mithy are playing this really well.
Yeah, and another problem for Karma is that traditionally you will run like penetration runes or maybe just flat AP runes and some armor runes on Karma, where Tahm Kench runs health regen, magic resist runes. So whenever they trade against each other, Tahm Kench actually deals more damage and sustains more than the Karma does, and that's why he can go toe-to-toe here in the early game.
Yeah, so Zven and Mithy look to have their first rough few levels a bit under control. We can look at the mid lane too. Again, this is a Rek'Sai plus mid laner that can use blue buff composition. What's going to happen here is Trashy's gonna start, skip his blue buff, and unless Trick goes to steal it very soon and Splyce forget to ward it, he's gonna return and hand it off, and that's the breaking point for this mid lane matchup.
They did forget to ward it so far. Trashy now at that red buff. If Trick just takes the Raptors and goes straight to that blue buff, he will be able to pick it up.
And take a look at his pathing. We'll be able to clear out that Raptor camp very quickly. Trashy obviously nowhere near to defend. Trick does not seem to go for that one.
He's going for the greedy heart clear here. Didn't skip a single camp here. So it's something we don't really see that often on junglers. Usually they go Gromp blue or Wolves and blue and they smite it, especially against the Rek'Sai. People like smiting Wolves usually, but instead of doing that, there was a ward left behind. Now this is a position where Trashy can actually go behind top lane, because Trick did a really greedy clear where he did not leave the Sprite of the Wolves up, which means Trashy here has a really good tunnel gang path.
Just gotta see. It's very important you knock up the Gnar when he tries to jump on you, otherwise he will escape. Expect coming in.
Oh, it's knocked up and interrupted. Mega Gnar pops. Expects a little tankier for now. Gets a wallop, not away from the tower, and doesn't even expend the flash.
Didn't get to kill Expect like the last game, but again, forcing him back to base early. Forcing that early teleport, and now Trick gets his reward.
Yeah, he gets a reward because he spots enemy jungler at the other side of the map. Despite not smiting Wolves and revealing it, he can then go for the blue buff steal, but we see how much it means, this buff here. But Mithy somehow was released from bot lane. He was allowed to roam up prior as a support, which means Venom Mithy had the pressure here. So honestly, G2 managing this 2v2 bot lane super well. The fact that Mithy can join here and contest his buff is a feat of strength.
It's what we talked about with the early tongue lash here from Mithy and the early trades. Another gank from Trashy. This time it's Mininar with the double jump again.
Let's take a look. Hop gets interrupted. Trashy manages to find it. Shadow Dash taunts underneath the tower. Spirit's Refuge is blocking those auto attacks. Expect some...
He gets it! Oh, Expect all he had to do was dodge that one, but it's such a fast skill shot and Trashy hits him. Expect, he felt like a hero. He survived the gank. He got 2 members to flash. And then Trashy's like, nope, not gonna happen. And that's a first blood.
From montage to montage material.
The Danish sniper.
The Danish sniper. First he takes the buffs, and he takes their lives. Trick says, you know what? If the wave happens to be here, I'll pick it up.
Oh my word, what a shot!
This is honestly a panic play, because returning here again from Trashy, he's stuck on this side of the map. Expect knows he was likely there. He knows he has flash, and then this is where Trashy panics. One more shot will kill him.
And Expect steps back instead of just keep running away.
I was chasing the kill.
He felt like the hero on stage.
He wanted
outplaying it. Ganked twice, would have stayed alive, would have gotten 2 flashes for it as well, while his team was stealing blue buff.
Kids would be talking about it 15 years from now. They're like, remember?
Imagine that highlight moment.
When Expect turned it all around for G2 Esports.
He would show that moment to his grandkids later.
Carried it
won't
the world,
show it now.
Killed Faker, 1v1.
Instead, it's going to be the Danish sniper story.
Danish sniper
Instead,
story.
it's going to be Trashy and Denmark standing side by side with the 10-time handball winners.
The Queen shows up at his house. They watch this clip together, watch the Olympic final in handball as well.
All right, back to the game.
And they all celebrate.
When handball's being talked about, I opt out, bros. Sven has an 11 CS lead on Cobby. This is the Caitlyn counter pick that's supposed to shut down Sivir in lane. Something went drastically wrong here for Splyce. They did not expect to play against a player that could actually bully them out.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey took a lot of damage early. We just saw like the level 1 trade.
Complete misplay.
Again, where he's losing it again. The tongue lash, the magic resist runes, the HP region runes as well. Like, you win these trades as Tahm Kench.
Yeah, we had a chat about this very concept with Mithy too. It's all about, if you play these poke lanes, about getting the minion wave pushing. Once you're pushing, that's when you can start poking. The problem is Mickey, he skipped a step. He started poking immediately, and Sven and Mithy, they just soaked up the damage, regen it all up, and ever since they had control of the minion waves. Right now it's up to Trashy to maybe get it back into their favor. Spell Shield is down, but there is still Devour.
Look at Devour. Sven's going to need it. Spell Shield has already been popped. Mithy gets a Devour. He's rooted down in place, and Cobby not able to get the kill. The Ignite from Bicky not working out. Sven holds him to his flash.
Definitely well played from both teams, honestly. Gank coming down, you see Trashy first going for the Tahm Kench because he knows otherwise he's just going to devour the AD carry. He then switches, and Mickey actually puts the snare on Mithy to keep him in place when he does devour Sven. Sadly for them, they didn't pick up the kill, got one summoner, and they actually forced back to base because Copy was so low. So once again, winning lane doesn't mean getting kills, it means having the push control, and that's what Giju's been having all game long in this bottom lane.
All right, Copy's going to pick up that BF sword pair of boots. Down 20 CS to when Sven eventually backs and buys. And obviously Wonder's got the plus 20 thanks to that first blood assist.
But we can't stress this enough. Just because it's Sven and Mithy, do not try this at home. Do not pick Sivir Tahm Kench into Caitlyn Karma. You will get wrecked in that matchup. It is, honestly, we can't state it enough how impressive it is that he is up 20 CS in this matchup.
We also can't really praise Trashy and Wonder enough, I feel. Last game, those two guys together won it for Splyce. This game, Trashy once again camping the top side. 67 CS for the Shen. Gnar is so far behind and so delayed on his first item. That's not going to be a winning lane for G2 for 10-15 minutes.
And that's 2 games in a row that Trashy has had an early game gank, and it's paid off. He's repeated it multiple times. For a guy who traditionally, farmed his way up, was more of a kind of a farm-style jungler, we mentioned at the top of the show. It's a good adaptation for Trashy in this matchup, and even though he's behind in CS, it doesn't really matter.
But it did cost them the blue buff, which means Senkers no longer has pressure over Vladimir. Vladimir got access to the free first item, which is magic resistance. Guess what? Now he has control of the lane, which rules out kind of the play where Senkers can push in and rotate to the bottom lane. Obviously, that play is invalid too because Cobby and Mickey are losing.
Yeah,
definitely something to worry about.
Yeah, it's very, very normal. Vladimir wins the mid lane matchup against Malzahar. Malzahar, after some of the nerfs happened as well, is an extremely weak laner, honestly, like the first few levels. He needs, again, 2 or 3 items to really get online.
Or blue buff.
Or blue buff will help him, but won't necessarily like destroy the lane either in his favor. It's more about the fact, as you said, the bottom lane shouldn't really be losing at all. Because then you actually had a good setup of Splyce. Yeah, you might lose a little bit in mid lane, but your top laner is getting really far ahead, and then Shen in the mid game is so extremely strong.
Oh, we see the play coming out right now, though. Senku's
spotted on the ward.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter sometimes, but the wave disappears here. So that's what they want to do here. He had a brief window of opportunity, but instead, G2 are looking to strike back in the top lane.
Mega offer expect into the Gnar. No stun flash away from Wonder, but the body slam flash barrel. Trick picks it up.
Another montage thing going on here. Like, if I flash this stun here, big play incoming. No, actually, you just flashed the wrong way. Trash is showing up.
Tiamat?
Yes, indeed, the Tiamat is a different build to what Trick did in the previous game.
Snipe him again.
Expect's able to flash away, looking for the Prey Seeker. Trick wants to body block, and Trashy won't get a shot on goal this time round.
But he has the wave. Parks the wave in front of... Nope. He's going to tank it. He's going to tax it all.
Wonder doesn't really want to use teleport straight back to lane. Saving it for now. He could also aim. He can technically use it. Yeah, ulti on the Trashy for the minion wave. But just keep it there.
It's not about the ulti, it's about the message.
It's about the farm, man. You got to keep this farm lead going. It is still great to see the way they set it up early.
This is kind of the laning pattern that we see. But look, they get dragged into the cannon creep +3 range, and then they back out. So these trades are punishing Mickey so hard.
Yeah, also stepping right into the boomerang. Both members on the return. So you just keep taking extra damage on the side of Splyce and losing out.
That's why you always finish the minion wave first. Otherwise, these bastards, they hurt.
Yes, they do indeed. Perkz is in trouble. Gets caught out by the Malefic Visions, and is going to get taken down. That was clean. There's no Tahm Kench to counter Mal's yet.
No, not yet. Not this early in the game. Perkz had a pink ward on the top side near the river. Probably felt fairly safe. But it's very easy for Rek'Sai to skip around that little corner and actually get into that bush and then set up the gank.
You mean like this one?
Like double TP?
In a little bit of trouble. Stand United's available. Sven and Mithy splits up. Sven will go down. Kill donated to Cobby. That'll make up some of the CS difference. Mithy pops the grey health on less than 100 HP. Trashy's looking for more. Barrel pins Mickey against the wall. Here comes Senkux with Stand United. Abyssal Void!
If he'd just taken one hit, he would have been interrupted straight away and they would have died. End up getting the Shen ulti down as well. So important, but G2 are playing so risky, so greedy, honestly, in these lanes here. And Splyce did manage to pick up some kills first in mid and then in the bottom lane. So it's another early goal lead for this Splyce team.
Yeah, Miffy didn't tell Sven, but nobody told Miffy either. They were coming again. This is the...
Miffy was already running. Sven was left behind.
But before, when they collapsed
I don't care about
lane.
you.
That's such a tricky play, because that channel goes for 6 seconds. You can reactivate it at one point to travel solo, and it goes immediately once somebody hops in your belly. So if Trick was any later at clicking in the Tahm Kench ultimate, both would have likely died there. Such close play.
Let's see it again. So this is the setup mid. Perkz feels like he has vision on top side, so he's okay hovering to that side, but he walks straight into
layering of spells was done beautifully.
Yeah, great setup, you know, first the stun into the silence as well, knock up in there. And now
they back to late.
G2's bot lane has to just run. As soon as Perkz knows he's dying mid, you run away bot lane, because otherwise, enemy team can do this.
Yep, and then again, taunt into silence. Kolbe picks up the kill, which is actually very important too for how this lane is going to evolve, because his deficit is now kind of been equalized. And then good feeling there. And right here, a Shen ulti too. Oh, this is so... Guys, we got them surrounded. They're in the bush. Where did Trick go? Oh,
Mickey didn't actually fire his Q because he didn't know if they stopped in the bush or not. Had he just done that, he would have interrupted and he would have actually been able to pick up the kills.
Does not manage to do so, and that means G2 get away without losing more. They get themselves Tower First Blood to make up for the First Blood kill that they lost. And you can start to see some of these items being completed. Perkz already got his hands on that Spirit Visage. Still big CS deficit in the top lane, but it is equaled out by Sven in the AD carry role. And the map is going to slowly become more wide and more open.
Yeah, and it's very important when you have a Caitlyn in the game that she does really well in the laning phase, because she's very good early. Then she is honestly very weak in the mid game, and then on 3 items she started to get strong again, and obviously the further you get into the game, she scales with it. But that mid game point here where Malzahar and Caitlyn are not sitting on 3 items, that is going to be fairly tricky for Splyce.
She also has such an annoying build path too, where she has to go BF first, and then I think they usually go straight into Runons.
Yeah,
so if you can accelerate that, that means you have... It accelerates everything. Early Runons means quicker side lane clear or mid lane clear, which means more farm, more plays on the map, like this one. Tahm Kench ultimate behind, long lane. Mickey X is there just to find out.
Couple of traps here, but I think Kobe's in trouble. Yep, Kobe gets deaded.
And that's the problem. It's too early. Malzahar does not want to go side lane yet. And Mickey X now gets tricked out. And nobody wants to play on this long side lane on the side of Splyce, especially when they play against the Tahm Kench. But they can't both sit in mid, so them losing the early game has major ramifications on their map play.
Well, Senkax will eventually go to a side lane, but it's to hunt down Expect. Nethergrass into the Unburrow. Flash, hop, Malefic Visions and a little Voidling. Run!
It's okay!
The cover from Mithy!
As always, when you play against G2, when the team does something against you, you just go top and try and punish Expect. He's always the punching back. This time around, he stays alive.
This guy has to be conditioned so poorly. Whenever he hears cheers from the bot side of the map, it's like,
I'm gonna die now.
He gets like a pain trigger. It's like, no, not again.
Stayed alive this time. Mithy did actually go up and help as well. Wonder will still be able to get a lot of damage on tower. And a lot of like cross-map plays happening. It all starts with Mithy on Tahm Kench. Go mid lane. Take the mid laner with you down to the bottom lane. Now he's top. This Tahm Kench is everywhere.
He's confident. He's going to 1v1 the Shen.
Hey, Wonder...
He was staying low. He was staying low.
Wonder was going to have to deal with Expect and that frozen mallet in a few seconds' time. Decided not to go for the fight.
Like, look, poor Kabe. He just wants a wave. He has a support warding for him, and he has traps in the brush. But then Perks shows up. Yeah, with Sven, it's so easy. Mickey still dies here too. Just such a good play by Mithy.
But here, normally, you would not see the bot lane return to a lane where there's no tower to defend them. They would have gone top side then and actually try and play around that tier 1 tower from G2.
Alternatively, they just brute force mid. Malzahar ulti into Caitlyn trap is enough change to see to maybe keep Vladimir busy.
Definitely is another option, but again, as soon as you see Sivir on bottom side, again, you don't push out, recall, go either mid or go top, and then you can always move the Shen to the bottom lane and just have him wait on the tower. Yeah. Or otherwise, you just get collapsed on like this.
Or you wait for Sven to push, you know, when Sven is in an empty lane, he's not going to slow push the wave either, he's just going to fast push it out, then you go catch it. It's just a major mistake for Splyce to move to that bot lane.
My only issue with that one, like Caitlyn waiting in the bottom lane, is you then allow G2 to rotate mid with the AD carry so quickly, and Caitlyn is like not able to do anything from that side. So I would have preferred Wonder to just step down to bottom side. Obviously, Splyce was setting up a play on the top side as well, so they were both making plays at the same time.
Rotation's always going to be possible. The problem is, Splyce messed up. They should have won that bot lane 2v2, and they didn't. Sven and Mithy did a phenomenal job pulling ahead in honestly a losing matchup.
Taking a look at G2's itemization, even though the Spirit Visages are no real surprises for Trick and Perks, it's even more effective when Senkax is the only strong player at the moment. Flash away from Wonder, gets out of range of the potential body slam, and now Expect and Trick, they're going to go uncontested in this top lane tower. Trick's going to just keep zoning Wonder away. Teleport coming down from Senkax. Wonder's pinned against the wall. The wall of the crunch, and he's down. Now Trick will turn his attention to Senkax. Body slam comes out. Here comes Trashy. Now the grass is going to be interrupted as Mithy devours his jungler. Spits Trick out to safety, and that was just such a good pick from G2 Esports.
That was beautiful. That was some pinball level coordination.
Absolutely love the coordination, like the setup on the map as well. G2 already had Sven in mid lane for wave there, and now Kobe's dying.
Kobe almost gets 2-shot. Hemoplague, will it be enough? Yes, it will! Tides of Blood comes out. Trashy, another lamb to the slaughter. Stand United is going to finish the channel. Taunt not going to land because Mithy saves everyone.
Hey, on the bright side, Kobe didn't die to the end tick of Vladimir ulti. On the downside, however, he died right before it.
I mean, G2 is just turning it on here. We talked about how Splyce would have big issues in the mid game before they hit 3 items on both carries. But this is also just G2 outplaying them on the map. From that play in the bottom lane with Mithy on Tahm Kench, then return play on top side. Look at your minimap here, guys. We already have the AD carry wave clearing mid. So this is a very safe play for G2 to just go to top side and actually play against Wonder, because even with teleport coming, they know there's enough time to kill Wonder here.
And look where Mithy is right now as well. He's going to show up in this fight. He was mid just 2 seconds ago. He's going to walk, and Tahm Kench from the brush in mid lane all the way here. Massive range here of this rank 1 Tahm Kench ultimate. And that means he's in time to stop exactly this. It's so hard for Splyce to find an answer.
And this is why the Tahm Kench pick, remember we saw it early, even before Malzahar was picked, was just so smart to counter that. We then go mid lane, and ouchies. More people will die. This is
Vladimir?
If you try to play an AD carry 2 levels down against the enemy mid laner, this happens pretty often.
I haven't tried.
Yeah, me too. Didn't work out very well for me.
No?
And Mithy is just... You know, Mithy is showing why he is one of, if not the best support in Europe. Another fantastic standout performance.
I think it's safe to say he's the best. Except for Crepo, obviously.
Yeah. If Trevor was in this game, whew, twice it devoured.
I mean, you're only here because you want to make it fair for the teams.
Yeah.
You want to make it fair for the teams. That's why Crepo is not playing. But Mithy is fantastic on Tahm Kench.
Tahm Kench actually looks so easy to play. There is some skill to this champion. Don't be mistaken.
Especially when you have to read the map. I mean, all credit to Mithy, right? Multiple times this game, he has left Sven alone. He's told Sven, I'm leaving you alone. And then he's gone to save teammates elsewhere across the map.
Yeah, Sven has just been sitting back and wave clearing. It's been his job.
Just a level 1.
Best job to do. Perkz, though, once again, the recipient of a gank. This time round, he's got the support. Here comes Mithy. Devour needs to be used. Not just yet, though, because Perkz kills Senkux. Expects about to go Mega Knock. Has a flash available. Sends Trashy backwards, and Perkz gets knocked out by the Alvaro. Gobbled up by Mithy in the background. Cobby was soloed out by Trick. I didn't quite see how that happened. And now Mickey's being run down. Splyce are being pulled apart at the seams. They're down 6,000 gold at 20 minutes.
And you can see it in the draft. There was one pick remaining for Splyce. They needed a final answer, something that was going to turn the tides against a fantastic draft from G2. And it was the Caitlyn, and it just simply did not work. Went back and looked. Mithy did indeed, as the official mentioned, skill that E on level 2. And at that point, with the way they play level 1, they were in complete control of bot lane. They dominated that side of the map, they spilled it over everywhere else, and then suddenly Mithy is left, right, center, up and down, combined with his teammates, really having such a large impact in this match.
Yeah, one of the absolute best changes that happened to Tahm Kench was that buff to his ulti and the range early so he can keep joining. This one he would have been able to anyway, doesn't even care about his AD
Sven
carry.
is lost.
Sven, just leave him behind.
He's like, guys, can I help? Boomerang maybe? Nah, it's fine, bro.
I mean, this is a classic AD carry game, right? You just wave clear and then the rest of your team walks around killing the enemy. Now he's running for another one. Go, Sven, go!
Everybody keeps flashing away from him, poor Sven.
He gets to wave clear top. Maybe he gets another kill. He does have 2 kills at least.
Great to see G2 have got carries all across the map. It's not only the Perkz or the Sven show.
But he still averages over 10 CS a minute. So impressive.
Great farmer.
Great farmer. Right click. You know, that APM.
Great. Sivir especially, so hard to last it.
I mean, how does he decide?
You just give like one auto attack and then one Q and then you get all the minions.
I think it's great though, is like, while we're taking the jokes of Sven, and we've seen how well Mithy's playing, they've been the 2 most vocal about wanting to win. They've been the most vocal about what it meant to be standing on that stage in spring and have the confetti land on their heads and saying they never want to feel that again. And they're playing in a way...
And that had nothing to do with confetti, because we here at the European LCS only use the best of confetti brands.
The greatest confetti.
It's the Maserati of confettis.
Problem is, it's gonna suck for them at Worlds. They don't want any confetti.
Well, I
guess they gotta make it all the way to the final.
I don't think they get far enough for confetti, so...
Trust me, we can find some confetti and shoot in their face if they drop out of groups.
I think we'll have to speak to PTEL about that, because it could be some fun on that one. Regardless, though, Dragon was picked up there by G2. They're sitting on the ocean. Got themselves 4 towers in the lead. A gigantic lead. The lead that...
But only 1 dragon, Trevor.
Yeah, the lead that Splyce needed with their team composition.
Where are the objectives?
It's like no one cares about poor dragons anymore because they just want kills and towers and gold. Greedy members.
Yeah, no man.
Then again, behind Krakow, you don't want to kill the dragon here, obviously. It is very important. And Perkz is going to kill Cobby.
On the hunt, Cobby's in trouble. He's going to get stand united. Now Perkz is a little overextended. Sanguine pulls away from the taunt. And it was just a bait because Mickey was the true target. G2 find their 9th kill of the game and turn their attention back towards Vision and maybe the top lane.
A double damage dealer composition put far behind in the mid game usually results in supports becoming collateral damage on the escape path. Mickey falls right here. And Perkz, you can just go in uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, now you can do whatever you want. Technically, as Vladimir, second time, boys. This was a different one, but it's been a rough week. Been talking a lot. Still, we got to go back to the pick and ban phase, because that's where G2 doesn't straight up win the game, but they give themselves such a big advantage. The adaptations, they picked blue side again. We were questioning why exactly. Not first picking Rek'Sai was huge, because this Gragas Rek'Sai matchup is so even anyway. Trick. He's going in with Mithy.
Mithy doesn't care. He's standing the whole time. Devours Trashy, spits him out for Sven to take him down. And just makes it look so easy. G2 They're not done yet. On the hunt is thrown down. Senkax is the target. He's got flash available. Not against the wall. Body slammed up. And another kill handed to G2.
It's a buffet for G2. All you can eat for Mythy, all you can feed for Splyce. They were baited in. Mythy was actually looking as if he was peeling away in front of Baron, indicating that G2 was actually doing the Baron. Turns out they were just baiting there. So Splyce got kind of surprised when everybody jumped over the wall in full health. And that was it. Really good play. The jungler's out. He got gobbled up. Baron goes down.
Really easy, really confident play here from G2. Extend that lead even further and, you know, get themselves one step closer. The thing that I really like about watching this game and watching it play out is just how pivotal the early game has been when it comes to defining game, because both games 1 and 2, you know, were decided relatively early on, despite taking a while to close out.
We are definitely in a snowball meta. Like when you have these standard lanes, if you get an advantage in standard lanes, you tend to get a few towers down and then get quite a large gold lead. And if teams play it correctly and don't obviously throw the entire lead, they are often able to close them out, like we see G2 do here. When you beat a Caitlyn in lane, she's useless for another 20 minutes. And they're not, like, Copy's barely even touching Mythy at this point. He might just heal it all back with his gray skin anyway.
Yeah, gray health.
Gray health. He has gray skin.
Gray skin. There's a tongue, great tongue.
It was because it was a mix of thick skin and gray health. I'm just way ahead of you, Prep.
You don't need to explain it to me, man. I can barely speak English half the time myself. I know that feel.
Wonder's not going to be able to stick to expect long enough. And Senkax and Wonder showing bottom. Gives an easy tower secure to G2 in the mid lane. In actual fact, they're not done yet. Remember, both those guys have teleports available. May need them if G2 decides to stick around. Trick goes for Cobby. The rest of the team goes away. Sven is going to get eaten up by the Devour, but this could be greedy by G2. Perk splashes over the wall. The Hemo Plagues onto Cobby. Barrel away. That time Hemo Plague gets it. Double kill on the back line. Senkax gets one, but it's not enough. Senkax is running for his life. A knockup from Trashy. Body slam onto him as he's locked down. And Trashy will get taken down if he sticks around. Instead, G2 break up in the base.
And there was some fancy plays here. Sven's spell shield got baited out. Wunder was waiting for the taunt right after, and on the frame where he was gonna go in, Mythy just flashed Devours, and that was the end of that fight. Everybody stood still watching the Tom Kench
Wonder
Sivir combination, and then Perks finished the fight.
What?
Just pulling the wave?
No, he's trying to catch both Sven and Trick here, but the fast recalls from Baron.
Ooh.
Sucks for you, Wonder.
Now, sucks for all Splyce right now.
Yeah.
27 minutes in. This is, I think, the definition of a Goomba Stomp when it comes to a one-sided matchup. And you just have to go GG next. Think about pick some bands. Think about how you don't get out-drafted as heavily.
That's the thing. At this point, Splyce is trying super risky plays to try and get back. They're never going to get back playing standard. So first engage comes in. Spell shield saves it, waits for it, and then Mythy jumps in.
Yeah, really good Devour, and then Perks comes in for the flanks. It's my turn. Trick knows he's gonna finish off Cobby. Bounces back. Cobby is really enjoying League of Legends right now. Truly, this is, after one of these games, this is where you take a break. You don't queue up again. Teams hopefully get like 5 or 10 minutes break in between.
12, I believe, is the total. 4 minutes to submit their side selection. That's going to be important.
This is also where, as an AD carry, you tell your coach right after the game, can we get red blue side, please, and first pick Sivir? Because Caitlyn was not the answer. Ashe would not have been the answer in this game either. Way too much backline dive from G2. Jhin would have been the same. Way too much backline dive.
I mean, the answer would have been hitting the minion wave level 1 instead of trading.
Sure.
But still, it's still Sivir.
Criticize the pick, criticize the player. You decide.
Or
Why not both?
Those, yeah.
Why not both? Trashy goes in one last time. The base is being destroyed. Baron is still ticking for a few minions longer on the hunt used by Sven. Now they're going to jump onto Senkax. He manages to get the Nether Grasp, but to no real avail. The inhibitor drops and Splyce. They're peeled, they're routed, they're destroyed. It's a triple kill for Expect. And the rest of G2 are going to use the super minions onto the Nexus, turn their focus onto the second tower in just a moment's time. And a dominant game 3. G2 Esports are going to pad their KDAs ever so slightly. Wonder's going to get run down, and it doesn't matter. G2 Esports are 1 win away from declaring themselves the Summer Split champions.
And in what a fashion, a very clean game here by G2. They honestly sweep the opposition in Splyce. 1 game away of crowning themselves the champions, and 1 game away of solidifying that world spot for H2K. A lot of local fans here, you know, even couple fans on the analyst desk, you know, rooting for G2 here.
But really this game, it all started in the draft. Great adaptations. We talked about it again and again. Honestly, every single rotation here was spot on from G2. They knew exactly what Splyce wanted to play with their Malzahar, and Splyce, they jumped right into the trap.
Yeah, they had honestly no other answer. Like Shen Rek'Sai looked so strong on first glance, but then expects Gnar was enough to deal with it. Trick proved that he can play both sides of Rek'Sai. Gragas, he's even honestly done better in Gragas into Rek'Sai than the other way around, which is a little bit surprising. The early Vladimir forced a Malzahar, which had implications for the composition. And then the Caitlyn was definitely not the answer.
No, Caitlyn at the end, I think Splyce didn't really have a great choice, so they just went for what gave them a strong laning phase. Obviously, when you then lose that laning phase, your composition will definitely fall apart because you need that early goal on that Caitlyn to kind of push it towards the 3 items. She never got it. She was useless and just died over and over. So basically a good draft from G2 and also winning that bot lane matchup.
Yeah, good draft and then even better execution, right? Having the tools in your kit, but you need to use them correctly. What does this mean now for Splyce? We know they have side selection in game 4. We know they've shown a level of mental fortitude. They don't crack under pressure. Going all the way to game 5 against H2K in the semifinals, I think is, you know, a testament to that. So where do they look?
It means I want to jump in. We do this the entire game, like you used to. So I want to shoot you. I think they should just honestly ban Sivir. They should go red side. And then maybe just ban the Sivir so the first pick doesn't come out. Whoa, you're awfully close all of a sudden.
Oh, I just wanted to get real close. Well, maybe, yeah, take away Sivir, pick blue side yourself, and actually go for the same first pick. Because
but then you have the Senkrix problem again where he's in his mid lane matchup.
But the problem for him is, like, I guess the issue is also the Vladimir. Yeah. Because if you go Sivir first rotation, Vladimir comes in on the side of G2, and then Senkrix doesn't have the correct answer.
Does Splyce have a potential picks and bans weakness? After we're seeing the 3 games, after we know how these teams play?
Not really. If they go for a red side, they have a ban they can use, in my opinion, on the Sivir, and then we can get a different game where the trades aren't as punishing, but this first lock-in on Sivir. Also, like, we can't state this. We have to state this. Like, Caitlyn Karma's supposed to ravage this lane. Yeah. Like, a relatively short-range Sivir that only has Boomerang to trade with a melee support is supposed to get wrecked, pushed in constantly, and then we have the whole play pattern of, you know, roam, bottom, dive with the ultimates. But that got completely negated because Venomithie played level 1, 2, and 3 honestly beautifully.
And I mean, that's part of the reason that we had that Sven piece earlier in the day, where we keep saying Sven and Mythi, best duo in the West. You're seeing more NA LCS playoffs. You still feel that's a true statement? NA hasn't played their finals, though.
I want to see Doublelift and Bifrost against them. Yeah. First, just to be safe. No, we have to see them against each other before we can decide.
Yeah. Even if the lanes end up the way they do, which I don't think, Bifrost is not going to waste all his Qs on just the enemy support, and he's going to realize that you should probably push in this wave. Like, there's one of the strengths of Doublelift. Like, he understands minion waves. Like, back even in Season 3, he schooled us in terms of don't trade into cannon minions, which at the time was incredibly revolutionary.
You didn't think about that.
That's how the game keeps evolving. Yeah. Now for G2, on the other hand, they have 2 games to secure the title. They have 2 games to have their second split victory. Is there as much pressure on them to change anything? Because now we know Splyce made some mistakes maybe, or got baited maybe. I don't know what the right term would be. So what does G2 have to do going into this next game?
Well, first of all, G2 should know they will not get this composition again. They know Splyce will change certain things. Like, imagine a Splyce banning away a Tahm Kench, so suddenly picking Malzahar actually has a lot more value against the Vladimir if that same trade does happen. So G2 should know they will have to play a different kind of composition. But I think what they learn from this game is that, first of all, the Rek'Sai Gragas thing, you can give away one of them and just take the other. You don't have to early, like, first pick them. And that's what both teams now should have learned. So we get to see Sivir, Vladimir as potential first picks.
Now we really get to see which team can adapt better. How does Splyce answer? What does G2 do in reply to that? Things are heating up here in Krakow. We're going on cooldown for a 3.5-minute break. When we come back, we'll have game 4, potentially the final one between Splyce and G2 Esports.